Well, hello my friends, and today you join me at Idestone, which is actually the stone which is just over there, but let's concentrate on this. So Idestone is the highest point in Exeter, to my knowledge, and yeah, it's a beautiful view here. So over there we've got Dunsford, and that's Exeter city centre over there, where it all happens. To the right we have the estuary at Topsham and Exmouth, Budleigh, Selterton and beyond. And if you look right over there where the sun is shining off of the sea there, that is Exmouth. So yeah, it's a beautiful spot up here. But anyway, the reason for this video, a good friend of mine who I met via YouTube has lent me his Royal Enfield Himalayan for the week. He's got my BMW, I've got this one, and as most of you know, that is Saddlebag 73's bike, which has had about a year now. So let me just talk you through the bike and a few things about it. Now, first of all, I had the opportunity of riding this bike probably 3 or 4 times over the last sort of 5 years, but I never wanted to ride the Royal Enfield Himalayan because it was a bike which I didn't really like the look of. And the reason I don't like the look of it is just that front end, the big light, the big clumpy headlight there, all this framework as well. It just looked a bit ugly to me. Now, as with any bike, since I've been riding it, it's actually grown on me. I don't really pay much attention to it. And this, to me, is very much a utility bike. It's got a massive 21 front inch wheel there on the front, which is quite unusual to get a 21 inch wheel on a bike like this that's suited to the road and also a bit of off-road as well. That's around the 400cc size. Now, he's made some modifications to it. He's got the Lextec exhaust, which is actually sounds really good without being obnoxious. It's quite loud, but not too loud. He's also got the boxes and the top box for the back as well, which I haven't got on it at the moment, obviously. I think the crash bars come as standard. He's got a lovely seat on this one as well, which apparently is one of the issues that people have with the Himalayan, is the seat, and this has been beautifully done, there, and it's also made the bike a bit higher. And certainly with saddlebags being over 6 foot, it does make all the difference. Now, most importantly, we've got El Pequeño Piccino, El Pequeño Piccino, or Al Pacino, Glenn Medeiros, I can't remember his name, El Pequeño Piccino, something like that. But he's just quite a famous character. He's been around the world and on all of Saddlebag's rides, and it's a real honour to be able to take him up here and just make him happy. He's such a happy little guy, and we're going to go on some adventures together. But we've got the TomTom thing here, and also he's cut the screen down. Made a lovely job of that, I might say, because that's not easy to do, and he done it with a jigsaw as well. And it's a neat job, that. Got a decent pirate sticker there. He's done some homemade things here, which stop the mud flicking up everywhere, because these bikes do tend to flick everything up with the Royal Enfields. And he's got this little fender here, a little one on the bottom side, and I think he's put in this rear guard down there as well. So all like tweaks that you'd want to have done if you owned a Royal Enfield Himalayan. The Lextec exhaust, I can't tell you how much that is worth of money. I don't know how much it is, but as I say, it's not silly loud, but it gives the engine a good pop and really exasperates that long stroke 400cc engine. Now, although I'm calling this a review, it's not a review. It's not my normal in-depth thing. Weather has been awful, and I haven't had much time away from the day job. So I'm going to call it a review, but basically it's just a ride. I need to put the Cornish sticker on the back as well, bless him. Now the reason I got this bike is because the bike has just gone in for a recall on the rear caliper. Apparently the rear calipers bind a bit on these bikes, and that's what it's gone in for. And it's also gone in for the front caliper as well. They did that at the same time. So you know, what is this bike about? Well, as I say, you know, I haven't ridden this bike before, and the reason being is because I didn't like the front end, and I don't really want to review bikes that I don't particularly like. As I say, it has now grown on me. Now I've ridden this bike, I understand what it is about, and this bike is about going exploring, basically. Obviously Itchy Boots had this bike, and she went round the world in all different places with it. And I think the only thing she had to change was the clutch plates, and bearing in mind she was quite well loaded up as well. But you just get an overwhelming sense when you get this bike that you just want to come to places like this, you know, the highest place on Exeter, and just do the lane exploring. And it's just such a nice light bike to own. You know, it's almost like the perfect all-rounder, really, because you haven't got the heavy weight of a bigger engine bike, and you just can hop on and ride. You know, if you want to pop down the shops, just hop on and go. So for that, it's very good. Build quality is questionable. The front brake is a bit dead, and obviously it's got to cope with a 21-inch wheel as well, which obviously it's a bit like gearing down an engine, isn't it? With a 21-inch wheel and a relatively small caliper, I think the problem is there, as opposed to the size of the disc. It's got quite a lot to put up with, so yeah, so that's not very good. The finish of the bike is quite a light sort of matte colour, but you know, you have to bear in mind what you're paying for this bike. I think they're £4,600, and for when you're paying that amount of money for a bike which can take you, you know, a relatively long distance comfortably and without any hassle, and with the sound of that long stroke engine, and with all that low down grunt, which this bike has got loads of low down grunt in the typical Royal Enfield way, it's a bargain. You know, it's nothing short of a bargain for a bike that can do all of that for you. Now on the off-road side of things, obviously we've got the big wheel in front, which is great. The ground clearance isn't great. I would say that it would have been nice to have a bit more, but you have to remember that this is a long stroke engine. It is part of its character, and you wouldn't want to jeopardise that long stroke engine for more ground clearance, personally, I think. Reliability, they're not too bad. They've had electronical issues. Tell me a bike that hasn't in this day and age. Well, in fact, no, don't tell me. But you know, bikes do have a lot of issues with electronics these days. They're just running before they can walk, and most of it is to do with Euro 5, although this is a Euro 4 bike, so it's probably not as problematic as a Euro 5 possibly could be, but it still has its glitches. Alright, now before we go too far, let's just listen to that exhaust. Now I'm not sure if you're going to get the proper sound of that. It sounds really good without being stupid loud. Okay, ready, Pekino? El Pepino? El Pacino Nominio? Looks like we're ready to go. So, cheers mate. Thank you, mate. So, I think with this bike, a friend of mine who does a lot of my ride-by shots, we've been talking for a long time about what is the perfect lane explorer. Well, I found it. There's no doubt about it. It's the Himalayan for me. So why would you buy this bike then? Well, it's going to be very good as a winter hack. So if you've got a bike which you don't really like getting dirty, and I know plenty of people who own bikes that won't go out in the winter just because they don't want to get their bike dirty. I'm a little bit the opposite to that, really. I want to keep my bike nice, but it is there to be ridden in my eyes. And again, it's a good lane explorer, and you know, you just feel like no matter what you come up across, this bike will just take it. And you don't feel guilty about giving this bike a bit of stick either, you know, off-road wise, or even this, look, going through here. How deep is that? Again, you know, yeah, quite deep. Whoa, watch your feet. But again, you don't feel guilty about going through that sort of stuff. And if you do happen to have a misdemeanor, then it's not silly money for parts on these bikes. You know, let alone all the aftermarket accessories that you can buy as well. It's you know, quite a cheap bike to run. And I think that's a mixture because of the high gearing and the long stroke torquey engine. It's almost a perfect mix. It handles it all so well. Let's just talk a little bit about saddlebags. This is his bike. Now he's got the Royal Enfield Himalayan, obviously, that I'm on now. A classic 500, a Kawasaki Z900, which is his sort of mile muncher, shall we say, that he goes on holiday with. He's got, you know, class taste, to be frank with you, in bikes. You know, he's a proper biker, as I like to call him. But yeah, his channel has got all sorts of videos on this bike where he does his rides through time as well, which are amazing to watch. You know, they really are not only informative, but just really nicely shot as well. But he's also done a review on this bike, which is obviously going to trump mine, because he actually owns the bike. He's owned it for a year now. So what I'm going to do at the end, I'm going to put up a little card at the end. In fact, I'll put one up here now, so when you finish watching this video, go on to that one and you'll see a proper review of this bike. And in fact, I'll put another one up here now for his classic 500 review, get your words out, which again is absolutely superb, really good. It's got over 150,000 views now as well, for good reason. It's a good video, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, you know, doing lanes like this, it is close to perfect, really. Yeah, so riding the bike, now obviously I've got the nice seat on this bike. It really is very nice indeed. That was worth every penny, doing that saddlebags. Really nice. I'm, you know, very much in an upright position. The handlebars aren't too much of a reach. I think he's got the bar risers on this one as well. They seem to look to me like they've been extended, so that was a good buy there. Feet position is very much below and slightly forward, I would say, on this bike. And again, if you're a tall person, then it's going to be a good choice. And if you're a short person, it's going to be a good choice as well, because it is so light. One of the things I don't like about the bike is the 3,000 mile service intervals. Now, for people who got Japanese bikes, you'll probably think, oh wow, that's strange, you know, why would you want a bike like that? Well, to be honest with you, apart from the Japanese brands and also Triumph, 3,000 service intervals is pretty much the norm, really, and certainly years ago it was the norm, and then it went up to 6,000, and you know, so again with some of the Japanese brands. And yeah, this one's 3,000. I think that's a valve check as well. The steering on it with that great big wheel is, you know, relatively positive. Obviously it's going to be dumbed down a bit because it's, you know, it is designed to go on all sorts of terrain, this bike. What would it be like as a two-up rider? Well, it'll be actually surprisingly good, because again of that low down torque. I'm not sure I'd want to go on the be doing faster speeds two-up on it, but it's got a surprising amount of torque low down to be able to handle, you know, taking your other half out on the lanes and going exploring together. So we're going to go down here and do a bit of laneage. I'm trying to keep the video short. I've got a funny feeling this isn't going to be a short video, but nice tunnel. Used to come down here a lot as a kid on my bike. Yeah, so again, would I do this on any other bike? No, definitely not. You know, it's not... you know, you have to have the right bike for this sort of thing, don't you? Oh no, that's a little bit too deep, I think. So, check out how deep it actually is. No, I can't go in there, look, folks. Yeah. I know through experience that that is quite high for that. Yeah, you're looking at a foot deep at least, maybe even 400 mil. Sadly, I haven't got the ground clearance on that, all the balls to do it on somebody else's bike. If it was my own bike, yeah, get on, straight in. But oh dear, look at the state of it now, look. Whee! So yeah, there's me going out today thinking this machine will handle anything, but I suppose it's me really that, again, it's not my bike, I don't want to ruin it. Okay, back out onto open roads. How you doing, El Pequeno? Acinio? Alineo Manorino? Glen Medeiros? Oh, little yellow smiley face. Alright, so let's go out some normal everyday roads. Take it through some traffic and stuff and see what it handles like. So it's a little bit jerky at slow speeds, which might be a bit of a pain as well, even in off-road situations. But this bike really comes into play as a winter hack, as I said already, if I've cut it in. And, you know, a great explorer. That's where this bike really shines. And it's something which I never really understood about this bike before. You know, it's just the looks that I could never get over, really. Now I've ridden it, obviously, as with all bikes, you know, that you don't like the look of originally, you know, it becomes its own character. You get used to it, and it becomes the norm. And you just start to enjoy it for what it is. Now, one of the problems with these bikes as well is the windscreen, apparently, is quite noisy and quite buffety. Now, Saddlebags has cut his off, so he's more out in the elements, which seems to contradict itself, but sometimes it's better to be out in the elements than have a noisy, horrible screen. Cheers, mate. Thank you very much. So again, you know, that's something you have to put into consideration if you bought one of these bikes, is that the screen isn't great at higher speeds. Okay, so it's a 410cc engine, single cylinder, 5-speed gearbox, 15 litre tank, which will last you quite a long time, 800mm seat height, so that's relatively middle of the road, quite low, and yeah, the road tax is actually £69 per year, so again it's just slightly above mid-level there, and the price of the bike is £4,600, and it produces 24 brake horsepower at 6,500, and it's got 220mm of ground clearance. So you know, as an all-round bike, you know, it's really superb. The looks still get me a little bit, but you know, it's not there for the looks, it's there to take you places which you can't go on any other bike, and that's where this bike really comes into its own. It's the way that the long stroke engine works with the high ratio gears. That Lextec exhaust is a worthwhile buy. It's just great as an all-round winter hack stroke explorer. Me and Pequeno Mourinho have had a great time together, and yeah, it's been a fantastic little chap, smiling away there. The seat is a worthwhile upgrade, as is doing something with the screen, is the gist that I'm getting from it, really. I've got it muddy now, and got to give it back to me mate now, so thanks to Saddlebags for letting me have a go on the bike, very much appreciated, and I will catch you all next week on the next one. Thanks for watching.